I kind of try and if it was up to me as far as like a rough feeding regimen to kind of go after too, like you'll hear about the different sources of calcium too get thrown around. So you can get sometimes, people make supplements with cuttle bone, sometimes oyster shell, um, sometimes like just pure precipitate calcium carbonate. Um, so there's a little bit of trial and error with the different styles of calcium carbonate, I guess, that you can get. The A lot of people seem to agree that crushed cuttlebone is one of the best natural sources of calcium, and they tend to be able to synthesize that really easily. So a more consistent allotment of that style of calcium versus say like a pure precipitate calcium carbonate that you might need to just watch a little bit more, make sure they're not getting too much. That stuff tends to be a little bit more potent. Um, so just being watchful and kind of just being keeping a close eye and kind of figuring it out as you go. Um, Oyster shell, I have heard some things about the sources carrying having trace metals and heavy metals, but I can't really say for sure. I just stuff I've heard in the grapevine, so I wouldn't necessarily avoid that intentionally, but just something to keep consider and make sure that you're not doing inadvertently.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. So while Eurypletus has certainly taken up a lot of your focus, you've alluded to having some other stuff happening
Yeah,
around on the reptile report.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
happening
I don't,
there, man?
dude. It's been an exciting couple of weeks. Um, So me and my buddy, Lucas Lee from Centralian Exotics, we are the co-parents of a really pretty pair of captive bred sarong green tree pythons. Kind of a funny story with those. I was browsing Facebook Marketplace, the slow San Luis Obispo Facebook Marketplace, just kind of buying time before I hopped on a plane, and I found an ad for a couple of 2x2x2 PVC enclosures, and I remember Lucas saying that he wanted some, and I was like, oh well, I could always buy these for you and bring them up later. Um, so I asked if he wanted them. He said yeah. So I went and picked up the cages, and me and the guy started getting to talking. He said he had some strong pythons at the time. I didn't know they were green trees because it could also be a number of other
Right.
species. Could be scrubs. What do I know? Uh, so I wasn't really sure what he's got going on. I mean, the 2x2s looking back, they were meant for green trees. So, I guess there's that.
It's okay.
Um,
It's okay. 2 + 2 doesn't always equal 4. So
exactly. Yeah. He didn't specify the green ones. So, unbeknownst to me, he had a couple of really nice animals, but he mentioned that, you might be getting out of snakes here soon. So, I was like, yeah, just shoot me pictures whenever you're ready. But yeah, then he offered, a rack, in a animal plastics rack, snake rack, and I was like, yeah, I need one of those. Might be getting in some ground geckos, some Malagasy ground geckos here, so I could use a place to kind of, quarantine those, and start to breed those. So I picked up that rack unit, and then he showed me pictures, and it was like, hey, just so you know, like I might be posting these on Morph Market soon, and he showed me pictures, and I'm like, damn, these the male's got beautiful blues, and the female's like a really pretty green color. But yeah, said Strong's, strong green tree pythons. So I told me, yeah, whenever you're ready to let them go, just let me know. I'm sure I could find either homes or I'll jump on it. I didn't really know where I would be at financially or what he'd even be asking. So I told him to keep me posted. About a week later, he shot me a message, said like, yeah, I need it. I kind of want to get rid of these. I don't really want to ship them. Can you come pick them up? You can take the cages too. And I was like, yeah, sure. But like, what do you want for them? Really nice gentleman, really stoked that it worked out that way. I think he was pumped that, that we were pumped too. Um, so yeah, I picked those animals up, came with the 3x2x2s, just put them in bags and left them in the cages, drove them straight to Oakland and, dropped them off at Lucas's place. I think
dang.
not having to ship them and, getting them used to the cage process. They had all the caging and it smelled like them and all that. So all that went well. So he sends me a picture later that night, and the two are freaking locked up on the perch.
Ah!
These things were 9 years old, and he'd never paired them.
So okay, so now we've dove into green tree pythons. Are there any other species that are on your periphery that you might try to dabble in?
Yeah. honestly, I've always been a huge fan of just Malagasy reptiles and stuff, and I think the Europlatus kind of kickstarted a lot of that. Not so much chameleons, but a lot of the other kind of like frogs, snakes, that kind of thing. So, dabbling in some cat-eyed snakes. Um,
Yeah.
I'd really love to try some mantellas at some point. I've been on kind of a frog kick here, so I'd love to try out some various Malagasy mantella species at some point. Um, from what I've heard, it can be a little bit more involved than dart frog breeding. So
Mhm.
maybe just whenever I got time for that, I might look into doing something with those. Um, Pie in the sky would obviously be, the grail of Malagasy species would be Sanzinia, but
Yes.
I need a lot of cheese for that. Um, Probably not gonna make that happen for a little while, but
Yeah.
we'll see. Maybe a Sanzinia keeper will get some interest into some leaf tails if we can work something out.
There you go. There you go. I mean, it could happen. You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
I've always enjoyed leaf nose snakes, Malagasy leaf nose snakes.
Yeah, Langaha.
Yeah, if they weren't
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
feeders and like die-hard lizard eaters, I would
Mhm.
have tried those and tried keeping those in the past, but
Yeah,
alas,
rodents can be challenging for those.
yeah,
Makes you kind of. I feel like herpetoculture's kind of shifted to being a little bit more easygoing when it comes to kind of responsibly feeding reptiles to other reptiles
yeah,
based on the species. It seems to kind of be less people seem to think it's the end all be all to get something on rodents. So
yeah, which
I
is
think that's
nice.
benefited. Yeah, I feel like yeah, if an animal is just designed to eat that for its entire life, a fatty rodent can only kind of do bad things in the long run. But
100%. 100%. Yeah, I wish I'm grateful, agree. I feel like that tide has kind of shifted. And people are definitely a bit more accepting of that. I wish it didn't take until 2025
yeah,
to get to that
imagine
point.
what we can have now.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. But no, I'm very intrigued to see what these kind of allowances
Yeah,
by the overall voices that the naysayers
yeah,
country. So I'm interested to see what advancements will happen in herpetoculture and what species can more easily get established in the captive side of husbandry with
right.
people being okay with that.
Yeah.
Well, heck yeah, dude. I appreciate you coming to take the time and hang out with me, man. I've got one final question for you because we're here on the
Mhm.
USARK YouTube channel. So that question
Yeah,
is, what does USARK mean to you?
man, it's like the shield. It's like the safe shield. It's the I guess it's the arms that are kind of shielding us from all the crap and goes that goes on upstairs. I mean, I don't think the majority of people realize just how lucky we are to have such a unified, I guess, voice and I guess people pulling levers for us. I mean, it's mind boggling. Like some you see kind of all the hidden um legislation that tries to get shoehorned into other bills and stuff, and it's like without USARK, without people looking at this, looking for this stuff, keeping an eye out for us, like I mean we'd be cooked. So obviously spine eyes. You got people like Art that are now really pulling some strings in in DC and all that. Seeing him going everywhere, that's huge for us, and huge props to them as well. So, yeah, support USARK if it's the last thing you do.
I agree 100%, man. Again, thank you so much, dude. If people want to check out some of the stuff you've got going on, see some of these cool Europlatas, where can they find you?
Yeah, Instagram at gecko. Hopefully, have time to do some YouTube at some point, but I'm trying.
People need to see Europlatus for more than just an image. They got to
Yeah,
see the whole video, man.
I
But
think so. I
yeah,
think so. Next up.
due time, in due time. But cool, Jack. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me, man. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, anytime, Jeremy. Take care.
Sweet.